Hi, my name is Michael Locke, and today we're going to be talking about Portobello Market from Playroom Entertainment. Playroom Entertainment makes a line of gateway games. The other two games in the series are Livingstone and Ilium. All of these games, I think they're actually fantastic games, and unfortunately it seems like all three of them have flown under gamers' collective radars, which I think is a darn tootin' shame, since I think they're right up there with the real good ones like Ticket to Ride and Hey That's My Fish and the games like that. So hopefully people will see this video and decide to check the game out. And without further ado, let's take a look at Portobello Market. At the start of the game, each player will receive between 16 and 30 market stalls in their color, depending on how many players are in the game. Each player will also receive 3 action tokens worth 2, 3, and 4 actions each, and a reference card to help with scoring. Take the neutral action tokens, numbered from 1 to 3, and put them in a stack with the lower number tokens on the bottom. Players will then take 10 customers of 2 different colors and stuff them into this black bag. What happens in the bag stays in the bag. The ominously named Black Baron remains out of the bag. We'll talk about him later. The game depicts London's historic Portobello Market district. The artwork is vivid and quite impressive. Although Portobello Market is really a bit of an abstract game, the uber high-quality aesthetics certainly make the game more appealing. There are 3 key features on the game board. The first of these are market lanes, which are rows composed of numbered spaces of varying point values, where players will be placing their stalls. There are also 11 market squares, located at the intersections of the market lanes, where players will be placing customers. And then there are yards, which are always in the center of and adjacent to 3 market lanes. These yards are where the Bobby likes to hang out. The starting player begins the game by placing the Bobby piece in any yard of his choosing. Throughout the game, players are going to be attempting to score points by using actions to place their market stalls into the market lanes, and by placing customers in the squares at the intersections of those lanes. When a lane is full of market stalls, and there are customers placed at either end of the lane, all players who have market stalls in that lane will score points equal to the value of the lane spaces that their market stalls occupy, multiplied by the values of the customers at either end of the lane. Gray customers are common citizens, and are worth only a 1 times point multiplier. Pink customers are aristocrats, and are worth a 2 times point multiplier. The Baron is worth a 3 times point multiplier, but he'll have to wait his turn. A player's turn in Portobello Market consists of selecting an action token, flipping it over, and taking the corresponding amount of actions. Once an action token has been chosen, it may not be selected again until the other 2 action tokens have been used. An action includes either placing a market stall in a market lane or liberating a customer from the depths of the black bag and placing him on the game board. A player may place a customer on whichever market square he likes, but may only place a market stall in a row that is adjacent to the yard that the Bobby is currently occupying. Moving the Bobby in order to enable you to place a market stall down where you'd like to is simple. Just take the Bobby and jump him over the market lanes until he is where you need him to be. However, if you jump the Bobby over a row in which another player has the majority of market stalls placed, you must pay that player 1 victory point. To do this, you move your marker 1 space back on the scoring track, and move the other player's marker 1 space forward. There is one more way to score points in the game, and this method can be the crucial difference between victory and defeat in Portobello Market. Instead of flipping over a token and taking actions as usual, a player may instead place either his 2 action token or his 4 action token in one of the Bobby yards on the board, and score all 3 adjacent lanes immediately. Each yard can only be scored once, and only the player placing the token in the yard will score points for the lanes that are adjacent to the yard. Placing a 2 action token will give a player a 2 times scoring multiplier, while using the 4 action token will give a player a 4 times scoring multiplier. Tokens used to score in this way remain on the board, and a player gets to replace his used token with a top token from the neutral scoring stack. This is one of the more interesting facets of Portobello Market strategy. Since the tokens on the top of the neutral scoring track are worth more actions than the ones on the bottom, players will want to take them as early in the game as possible. However, if you score a yard too early on in the game, you probably won't have enough market stalls placed on the board yet to score the really big points. Now it's time to talk about the Baron. As soon as all 10 customers have been freed from the bag and placed onto the game board, the Baron is immediately placed on the last unoccupied market square. The Baron grants all adjacent lanes a 3 times multiplier, and he also scores adjacent lanes at the end of the game, even if they remain incomplete with empty market stall spaces. As soon as one player runs out of stalls, each player receives one more turn, and then it is game over. When people run, they go faster. When folks wear glasses, they can see better, and the player with the most victory points usually wins the game. So that's Portobello Market. It's a game that's very easy to learn, very easy to teach, and I think it's a game that's going to have tremendous appeal to families with kids between the ages of 8 and 12, and people who are into games like Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, Hey That's My Fish, games like that. At the same time, the entire game takes only about 30 to 40 minutes to play, and in that time it packs a pretty heavy amount of tactical choices and a nice amount of depth in there. And I think that for even serious gamers who are looking for something more than your typical filler like Ink and Golden for sale, I think this will fit the bill nicely. The components are absolutely gorgeous. All the wood is, large, brightly painted. The meeples are big, and the board is bright and vividly illustrated. It's really just a really, really nice looking game. And I think overall, Playroom has just produced a real gem of a gateway game with Portobello Market. I highly recommend it.